What's the bet? I think 3-1 is 10-1 is still trouble on the line.
What is it on again?
9 to 8 is 1951.
Trouble on that line.
I tell you this, I don't know what's gonna happen, man, but I'm gonna have my kicks before the whole shithouse goes up in flames. All right, all right.
Was
down bifocals. The second generation had bifocals. The third said fuck the bifocals. And the fourth was bifocals are important yet. We need a subsidiary for the bifocals. Well, I don't understand it, but I believe it. Define bifocals. A bifocal is someone who can play a good guitar.
She lent me a book by Kweder and Kenn. She lent me a book by Kweder and Kenn. She lent me a book by Kweder and Kenn. Now she wants back the book. Now she wants back the book. My Kweder and Kenn. She wants that book back. I'm not giving it back. I'm not giving back the book by Kweder and Kenn.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Blisters on my vocal
Is the moment we've all been waiting for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Good evening. You can hear me back there, right? Yeah. Good evening. My name is Ian Maley. I am a professor in the Augustine and Culture Seminar Program at Villanova University, and it is my great honor to introduce Kenn Kweder. I want to say a bit about who Kenn is and how I imagine him. Anyone who knows Kenn knows these are much the same thing. I first saw Kenn in the spring of 2016 at a screening of John Huddlemeyer's documentary, The Mass Hallucination of Kenn Kweder. I sat behind him in the audience, though he left about halfway through the film. To work with Kenn is to be his friend, his audience, and his co-conspirator. Therein lies his genius and also his generosity. If you know Kenn or have worked with him, perhaps you know what I mean. Along the way, he passes you things. You never know if he gave them to you or if you just received them. When I say how I imagine him, this is what I mean. Kenn taught me that a guitar lies somewhere between a beautiful woman and a gun. That the most loving man never wrote a love song. That it's possible to speak plainly about secrets you will take to your grave. But more than anything, Kenn taught me that it's not enough to ask the question. The important thing is to be the question. That is the meaning of art and the task of life. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenn Kweder. So I'm sure you all are excited, and I am too. So here's how it will work tonight. If you could raise your hand if you would like to ask a question. Cindy will call on you. Please only speak when called upon. Stand to ask your question, and Ken will answer it to the best of his ability. Go.
Yes, sir.
Can you outrun a fog machine?
We're going to find out tonight because we have fog machines backstage. And we intend to put them 100% out of control. And the windows are sealed in case you're wondering.
Mr. George Flint.
Yes, Mr. Kweder. Can you explain what in the world unconventional karaoke is?
You mean non-consensual?
Yeah, that's what I mean, correct.
I wrote the question.
Got the wrong guy to read it.
Thank you for the question. Anyway, the answer to that question, George, is I imagine a lot of you folks know I play quite a few nights a week throughout the Philadelphia area, in Jersey, wherever. And every so often, someone will come into a gig where I'm playing, and they'll decide to take the stage while I'm already on stage. And then, being a really nice guy, I'll back them up on whatever song it is they want to do. And before you know it, I open up the floodgates of total chaos, and then next thing there's another person comes up, and a half hour goes by, I've already backed up like 6 or 7 different people without my consensus. So that's the answer. That's a non-consensual karaoke right there.
Raise your hand. Somebody in the back. You, sir.
Yes, Mr. Kweder, do you consider yourself a living legend?
I always had a problem with that terminology because I'm neither Jesse James or Robin Hood.
Yes, ma'am.
Why is everybody texting and hardly talking nowadays?
I'll give you sort of a little insight. I was drinking in a bar, it's hard to believe, okay? And I was talking to this woman about just general things, and she said she had just quit teaching. And I said, what happened? And she said, well, she quit a few years ahead of time because she had a situation where she gave the kids the opportunity to do absolutely nothing because there was only like 25 minutes left before the year of academia was over. And she did notice that none of them spoke during those 25 minutes. So she said before the bell rang, hey, I noticed none of you kids were talking the last 25 minutes. I told you could do whatever you wanted to do. And a girl stood up and she said, don't you realize talking is creepy? True story.
Anderson Cooper.
Anderson Cooper's here. I knew it. I knew he would come. Okay.
Kweder, can you tell us the weirdest experience you've ever had with a religious zealot?
Yeah, not too long ago, a few years ago, a woman I know became involved with a certain sort of offbeat religion where you would chant a certain thing over and over to get what you wanted to get, you know. And then I found out that she was a musician, I'm a musician, and I was working at this particular club that she used to work at, but she can't work there anymore. So she started chanting for the death of the booking agent. That's just strange. It actually happened, true story.
Rock God, Kenn Kweder. What was the last string?
Real serious question here. What does outer space smell like?
What does outer space smell like? You ready?
Got the pen in hand.
Mouthwash. It's true. Look, Google it, dude. Google mouthwash, it'll come up, outer space.
Good answer.
Be a good name for some mouthwash, outer space mouthwash.
In the back.
Okay.
Kenn, Lou Maruska from the former Haverford State Hospital. We were talking about cocktails a minute ago. You're very proficient at consuming copious quantities of alcohol. What advice do you give to the less experienced in doing that?
I mean, that's a hard question. Let me see. What advice would I give to someone that really doesn't drink much, but they want to drink more? Hang out with me, motherfucker! I'll teach you.
This nice man in the white shirt and glasses.
Oh, I guess hello, Ted. Artificial intelligence has been a hot topic lately, but do you think artificial intelligence will take over the universe, or do you think fungus will take over the universe?
Or fungus will? Well, let's see. That's a good question. I think that artificial intelligence is made out of artificial fungus. That's all I can tell you.
Mr. Fun.
Okay, I won't screw this one up. Who is Dr. Bones?
Okay, Dr. Bones is a witch doctor that has been advising me in my life for almost 4 decades. He's a close friend. Anytime I would move, which would be pretty frequently, he would come into my house and try to he would suck out all the bad spirits from the closets and in the basement. But the most important thing that he did with me over the years is that I've had many bands, and quite often a lot of guys would be ridiculously late for rehearsal or gigs. So I asked him to please put some spells on these musicians that show up late. And that's who Dr. Bones is. In fact, I saw him a few weeks ago, and he gave me this voodoo doll. So thank you, Dr. Bones. He is a real person. He is a real person. I'm not making up. And he did put spells on people. Yeah.
Okay, right in front of Mrs. Fun.
What do I think of the French Revolution? It's too early to tell. It's too early to tell. I'm not going to make any predictions. It hasn't manifested itself. Why do I seem to be in good shape? There's 2 answers. The lighting. You said it to me a lot, but it's like the lighting, and then also good editing. But the real, honestly, I have the same exact problem as people. Superficial too. Hashtag superficial. Okay, the deal is. So immediately I got a bunch of food stamps. I didn't know if this. I didn't spend too many, but next thing I had like hundreds and hundreds of dollars of food stamps. And then as I continued to think I was going to become world famous, I designed these posters. Kenn Kweder Folk, Kenn Kweder with Lee Harvey Oswald, my old buddy, on there. And I thought, how can I put these up? Well, I'll get some Scotch tape. I put them up. And it kept coming down. Then I thought, well, I'll just staple them to trees. Don't do that in West Philly. They're very conscientious group of people out there. Don't like you stapling. Not that I didn't know any better. So anyways, no matter how I put them up, they kept coming down. Then I thought, fuck. I saw some, like, it was called SDS, Students for Democratic Society. They were gluing up their posters. They were everywhere. And I was like, what? And I ran into them putting them up. I said, what do you use as an adhesive? They said, carnation milk. Like out of the can, evaporated milk. So I thought, I gotta get me some of that fucking milk. So I bought some with like, dollar bills and $5. I go, fuck, I got all these food stamps, right? So I took those food stamps and I started converting them into gallons and gallons and gallons of carnation milk and plastering Kenn Kweder, posters everywhere. And that is the deal with the milk. And they stayed up for years, And I still had some stamps left. I still have some today.
Yes.
Well, speaking of that, now that you have such an amazing career as a rock and roll artist, what do you do? How do you handle all the money that you made in showbiz?
It is a double. That was asked earlier. I answered that one earlier. What other one do you have?
You spent it.
It's in my wall.
I did answer that one. I'm sorry, that was a double in the box. What do you got?
Is it in the walls?
Good evening, Mr. Kweder. My name is Irma Cope from the Pandemonium Podcast. Is it true you got a nosebleed watching Springsteen in 1974?
Is it true that I got a nosebleed watching Bruce Springsteen performing in 1974? That is true. I'll give you a bit of context. Up till 1974, I was in Southwest Philadelphia playing guitar. In fact, I was very confident. I thought I was really good. In fact, I was hanging out with this guy, Vietnamese guy, that I met in West Philly, and he knew I was good, but he knew I was crazy. And he once said to me, he goes, Kenn Kweder! He said, what do you want to be? Worldwide rock and roll star? Or Southwest Philadelphia freak? And I said, rock and roll, the fucking world famous Kenn Kweder, He was dead serious because he thought I was fucking nuts. He's going, he's basically saying, get it together, right? So getting back to your answer, when I was a Bruce Springsteen fanatic from 1973, so when he was coming to Philly in 1974, I went to go see him at the Main Point in Bryn Mawr. And he was so good. Now you have to understand, I went in there going, this motherfucker can't be that good. He's nowhere as good as me. Right? And I'm not kidding. So I went in, and he was so good, he just kept blowing me away, song after song, that before the show was over, my blood pressure, my nose exploded in blood. That's a true story. I just couldn't believe anybody was that good at that time. But then guess what? I'm catching up.
Person Ray.
Mr. Kweder, can you talk about your thoughts about Taylor Swift versus Bob Dylan?
Well, right now, Taylor Swift blows him right the fuck out of the water. The only difference between Taylor Swift and Bob Dylan is that Bob Dylan was a pioneer in what he did. Taylor Swift's not a pioneer, but she writes better songs.
Terry.
Hi, Ken. Have you ever been injured during an interview?
Have you ever been injured doing an interview?
Would you like to be?
It wouldn't be the first time, actually. Not too long ago, I was answering a bunch of questions, and I literally threw my back out. So I did get hurt by myself from laughing.
Mr. David Warnoff is here with us this evening, and I think he has a question.
Okay, good to hear. Good to see you there, David.
Oh, okay. Kenny, do you have any superstition?
Am I superstitious?
Yeah.
I try not to be, but I still carry a little tiny piece of wood in my right pocket.
Excuse me?
What does that mean?
Yes, ma'am. Ken, earlier we were talking about what good shape you're in, and I was wondering if you had any advice for people that are trying to get healthy?
Hold on a second, let me think, hold on. I gotta get the answer from outer space, hold on. I like this guy, look, he's fun, hold on a second. One more time, right?
Right.
Sure.
Should I do one more time? Come on, motherfuckers!
There you go.
Okay, just try to get in shape, try to stay in shape.
People trying to get healthy, yeah.
To get out, I mean, like, you gotta walk a lot. I mean, like, you gotta, even when you don't feel like doing certain things. I mean, sometimes don't do a fucking thing, right? That's key, right? Don't do a fucking thing. And then contrast that the next day to do something, right? Like, I happen to live near the woods, so I do a lot of walking in the woods. And let me tell you something, it's boring as fuck all. And I used to swim a lot. That's boring as fuck all too. But the thing is, but what I do to break down the boringness, if I'm trying to learn a Taylor Swift song for the person in the back row, I will go and take long walks and try to recite lyrics to whatever song I'm trying to learn, or try to memorize answers to questions at this press conference that I wrote. But the thing is, definitely keep moving, like whether it's swimming, walking, or whatever, and you got to do several thousand steps at least almost every other day.
I have a response.
What?
Why don't you eat dessert?
It would give me a false. Why don't I eat dessert?
Yeah.
That's easy. It would give me a false sense of hope.
My question is, what is a fuck all?
What is a fuck all? I've been wondering that myself, but it feels good. It comes off my tongue. Fuck all.
The real question I have for you is, what is your opinion of Donald Trump's fanatical devotion to the Pope?
To the who?
The Pope.
Ah, the Pope. Well, is that really true? I don't know. I don't know that when you hear what Donald says that he's a politician, right? Am I correct? I think he is. He's in politics. I don't know if I would trust what politicians say. They say they're in love with the Pope or whatever. So my answer is I don't believe it.
Lady on the wall under the pretty picture. That's you.
Lady on the wall.
She's right sitting by the wall. She raised her hand.
Okay, I can see that.
I asked, what was his first true love?
No, I said my mom, but do you want some other answer? The nuns? Sister fucking Mary motherfucker?
Is that her right there? Than you.
As a follow-up to your health questions, could you describe the Kenn Kweder diet?
Okay, it's probably unusual to some people, most people actually. First of all, I don't eat anything that comes out of the ocean. Number one, dead serious. You could put a lobster in front of me, like from the greatest store in the world. You'd have to pay me at least $1,000 to even try it, okay? Nothing from the ocean. Nothing that's man-made. Nothing that's man-made, like spaghetti or ravioli or kibasi, that ends in a vowel. I will not eat anything that's man-made and ends in a vowel. Not kidding. If it comes out of the ground, like broccoli or potato, I'll do it. If it's man-made, ends in a vowel, I will not eat it. I consider things like that reverse foods. Now, the forward foods are things that end in consonants that are made by men, people. And anything that kind of disrupts the saliva in your mouth, causes like a civil war in your mouth, like super hot peppers or raw garlic. I live on that stuff, I really do. Like anything that makes your body like hurt. If you can hurt your mouth, you're doing good. I'm telling you. I'm serious. So I live on that. They make my girlfriend, talking to her earlier today, she was just talking about some kind of crazy powder I put on food that it's
inedible. I don't know how he
it's
does
like-
it.
it's like-
It's so hot.
It's like like if I just sprinkled in the air, it's like poison gas. It's like World War II, you're in the fucking trenches. And then I'm like breathing it in. Fuck it, man. So that's my answer to that question, and a convoluted answer, you know.
Did you get that from Winston Churchill?
Did I get that from Winston Churchill? No, but I did get one thing from him. You can run a war on 2 bottles of gin every day. I don't know how he did it. That stuff makes me jealous. I can't even run my show business career on a half a bottle.
Mr. Bruno.
Ken, Joey Bruno here.
Yes, sir.
CEO, Joey Bruno Music Archives.
Yes, sir.
Right. In this day and age of millennials, Generation Z, Generation Y, etc., etc.,
Yeah.
social media, is it still possible for a kid to be secret?
I'll tell you what. That's a really good question. I think in the overarching philosophical response to your question, yes, but not likely. But a good question. I like that. Yeah.
The pretty young woman from Variety magazine.
So along with your diet, how do you feel about the process of getting older?
How do I feel about the prospects of getting older?
The process of getting older.
Well, old ain't as old as it used to be, number one.
Yeah.
I don't think so. We're older. But I think the only thing, I mean, I honestly think that as you get older, you have to just stay curious. Never surrender your sense of curiosity, number one. And number two, try to move as much as you can. I mean, I honestly believe that. I mean, like, there's a lot of times I don't want to go to shows and do gigs. I'm like aching, you know. I broke a lot of bones. People don't know I was an athlete when I was younger and did a lot of crazy things. And so I have like weirdo arthritis, but the only thing that keeps me going, for me even to show up here and to be sort of frisky or whatever, is like, because this week I did a lot of walking and a lot of stuff like that, you know, and ate a lot of raw garlic, hot peppers, and I kept away from things that ended in a vowel.
Mrs. Clinton.
So when you were talking earlier about how many miles you have to walk to learn lyrics to a song, how many miles did you have to walk to learn Desolation Row?
That's a good question.
That was a really great performance, and
Yeah,
a lot of...
thank you very much. You know what the funny thing is, nobody knows about it? Is the same week I was learning Desolation Row, I had to learn a brand new Miley Cyrus song. A song called Flowers. I swear to God. So I was learning both at the same time. Desolation Row took, it took at least 20,000 steps. I mean, you know, like with breaks in between. It was, you know, it was like, you know, several weeks in a row. The Miley Cyrus thing was only a week. Less lyrics for her thing. But thanks for taking note of that. It was I thought that was a lot of fun to sing that song. Yeah.
No, sit.
I love when you tell me that.
Hey, Ken.
Yeah.
Have you ever met Elon Musk or that other guy who invented Venmo?
Believe it or not, this is the truth, because we're at a fake press conference. Both can be comported. See how I use those words. Elon Musk used to be my barber. I worked at a place called the Palladium, University of Pennsylvania, 3601 Locust Walk. Way back for years I was there. In the early 90s I had a bar back. All I remember, his name was Elon, but as he became famous, you know, years ago, I found that it was Elon Musk. I didn't know it at the time because he was young, but he went to school there and he was my bar back briefly. And then the guy who invented Venmo, which is tied in with Elon, he used to open up for me and Mark Teague about 16 years ago at Smokey Joe's. He's from India, I believe, from India. The nicest guy in the world, I remember him. He did about 4 Sundays, we did some Sundays, Sunday nights, and he opened up like 4 or 5 times. So it's bizarre that I would be tied into the financial sector of the world. They'd be totally fucking broke. But yeah, it's a true story.
Let's have hands haven't asked a question yet. Right.
Carolyn, what do you have a question? No question, Carolyn? Oh my God.
I refuse.
Greg has one.
Greg Curtis, Rolling Stone. What is your relationship with Tommy Travis?
Tommy Travins, oh my God. I haven't heard about him. This guy, Tommy Travins, was like a lifelong criminal that I knew. He used to, for fun, this is just for fun, he would break into the Philadelphia Art Museum and steal something. No, it's a true story. Bring it home, have a cocktail party, show people, be out for a couple months, and then a couple months later, break back in and put the thing back. It's a friend of mine, right? And so then he got involved in some counterfeit shit. He made like a lot of counterfeit money. And I got his son, some tickets for REO Speedwagon about 20 years ago. And he always thought I was a good guy, you know? So one day I was getting ready to go to Europe. And he came to my door because I heard you going to Europe tour. And he handed me like an Acme bag with $100,000 worth of fucking counterfeit money. Swear to God, swear. I go, what do you fucking expect me? He goes, bring it on the plane, spend it over there in fucking Copenhagen and shit. That's where I was going, right? I go, oh, fuck. Anyway, I go, I don't really, this kid, I can't do this. And he goes, fuck you, and he just put the bag in the house and left. I ended up burning it years later. You know, I didn't want to, that's serious shit, by the way. So, just in case you didn't notice. So then, he started doing some shit where he was refitting boats that were coming in from Florida. We could put like all kinds of drugs and shit in there. And to make simultaneously, I'm like buying coke off him too. It was yellow coke, Mountain Man, this guy, by the way. It's back in 19, bunch of years ago. So he was always got his hands in some shit, fuck this, fuck that, you know, Tommy Travins, right? So then I lost contact with him. Then I found out, believe it or not, he got arrested. Can you imagine? He finally got arrested. So then I find out that he's behind bars. And then the person that ratted him out, I find out his house got burned down while Tommy Travins was in fucking jail. So I said to my buddy, who knew Travins a little bit better than me, I said, how the fuck could that possibly happen? He goes, you think a little old thing like being behind bars could stop Tommy Travins? Yeah, that's a true story. But there's other stories where he put people in holes. If he owed him money, he would dig. He had a big hole. He lived out in the woods. He'd put you in that hole for the weekend. Put a plywood over it, 8 feet by 12 feet, and you'd be in that hole for 3 days. Then he'd come and pull it and go, you gonna pay me now? Tommy Travins didn't fuck around, man. Yeah. I wish he was around. I would have invited him tonight. The last time I heard about him, he was in the news actually last year. Remember I showed you it was in Philadelphia Inquirer, and they rolled him out. He was in jail. He was back in jail, and he came out, and they were talking about he stole some Civil War rifles or some shit somewhere, and they caught him, and then. What else could I tell you about that? A lot of stuff. I could after the show's over, we get a couple of drinks. I'll tell you a lot of Tommy Travins. Yeah. And you know one thing he said to me? I said to him, I said, Tommy, I was up at his house getting some coke years ago. I said, what do you think about this thing, Hands Across America, when people are trying to, does everybody remember Hands Across America? And you know, he said to me, he goes, fucking fairy tales. I go, what do you mean? He goes, a bunch of fucking fairy tales. Tommy Travins. Let's do it together. Tommy Travins. He doesn't even know he's part of the press conference. Yeah, he was just in the Inquirer. They have to bring it up shit. They rolled him out, and he was all like chained up and shit. It was fucked up.
Ms. Laura Mann, do you have a question?
What's the question? You want to meet Tommy Travins, I know. You know, some girls like guys like that, you know? Who you going out with? Fucking Travins? Fuck no! Travins!
Actually, Connie is here. He wanted to come and say hello.
Say that again, what is it? Tommy Travins?
Yes, he's here.
I better get the fuck out of here. I'll get fucking Lee Harvey Oswald on the case, baby. I never think Lee Harvey Oswald could stop Travins. That was a good question.
From Murphy's Tavern Times.
Pardon?
From Murphy's Tavern Times. If I could speak for like a little room, what exactly is your real name?
Oh, what is my real name? My real name is Kenn Presser. And you know why it's Kenn Presser? Because the name Kenn Kweder is too hard to pronounce, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's really Kenn Presser. But the only thing we really know about Kenn Presser is that his name really is not Kenn Presser.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what do you think is the true meaning of life?
Okay, true meaning of life? I think everybody's perfect when they're a baby, and I just never grew up. But I'm not saying I'm perfect, because I did grow up, but I'm still a baby.
Yes, ma'am.
If you could be anyone, who would you be?
If I could be anyone, I mean, like a lot of people, they want to be like the president, you know, or they want to be like a king, or, you know, I always wanted to be like a expert Jaguar mechanic, you know. Me and Greg Davis always talk about that. But if I could be anybody, I would like to be that guy, you know, when you're driving down the street, there's someone at the corner in front of a business, and they're twirling a sign. That's me, baby.
Yes.
Hi, I know I've had enough questions.
There was some people having again.
My last question to you is, Ken, how does it feel, like deep down inside, that you're surrounded by all these people who love you?
It's absolutely wonderful. I have huge gratitude, eternal gratitude to all you folks, and you know, forever. And I think, I don't know why I've become so lucky, but I do believe that I do believe that I will always thank you to the day I die. That's all from my heart. So yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey Ken, what's the funniest thing you ever saw in a dive bar?
What's the funniest thing I ever saw in a dive bar? Well, something just happened a couple of weeks ago. Hold on a second. Does anybody remember during the pandemic the puppet show? Remember? Remember the alien? I brought the alien with me, you know. And I also brought the Chinese. Remember the Chinese? The show couldn't start without the Chinese. They got this guy. This guy's new though, look. Shut up, motherfucker. The funniest thing I saw recently in a dive bar was my friend Rob came in to see me. I was playing this fucked up bar. Water was coming down. There was a light bulb above me, you know. And there's water coming down from, maybe there's a laundromat upstairs, a washing machine, whatever. It was dripping on my fucking head. So during the break, I went over to say hi to Rob, and Rob's going, "What the fuck's with this place? I keep ordering these drinks." And the bartender, you know, was not being the friendliest. I go, "Well, what are you ordering?" He goes, "Because I get just kind of a fancy drink." I said, "You know, you're like in a dive bar." I said, "You know, I'm playing with the light bulb and the water dripping on my fucking head." And he says, the bartender comes over, and I go, "Well, order it again. See, maybe he'll like show mercy on you, because you know the guitar player with the water's dripping on the head." You know? So he orders a strawberry lemonade cosmopolitan. He says, "Can I get a strawberry lemonade cosmopolitan?" And the guy goes, "I told you, we're not doing fancy drinks in this place." And he goes, "Come on, you can come up with a strawberry lemonade cosmopolitan. It's got this ingredient, that ingredient." You can see the bartender's getting really upset. And then the bartender goes, "Listen, pal, nobody drinks here for fun." That's true story. We all go to bars not to have fun. We go there to get fucking tortured. But not at that bar. Nobody comes there for fucking fun. That's it.
Is it true that you had to be driven around by a celebrity when the job was that you were supposed to drive that?
Oh yeah, you're talking about when I worked for Tom Waits? Yeah, Yeah, when I started off, a long time ago, this was like pre-Carnation Milk vandalism of Philadelphia windows. This is right after I was quitting my government job. I had a manager named Bill Ibe, and he was booking all the colleges and the jail. Bill Ibe, one of the greatest of all time. Bill Ibe, my famous manager of all time, because he never told me what to do. The other managers had a little problem with me, you know. Oh, they did. Yes, they did. And Bill said, "Do you have a car?" I go, "Yeah, I got a car." And I just got done working for the government, you know. I had a car called a Deuce and a Quarter. It's a Buick 225. I actually had a fucking police siren on it because I had a guy jacked it up. So I would go pick up. So I picked up. He goes, "Can you pick this guy Tom Waits up?" So I went to 30th Street Station. I picked him up. I think I was 23 at the time. Waits was like 24, 25. We were young. I can't believe how young we were. So I drive him to the Bellevue Stratford. You know what blows my mind? I black out all the time because I can remember every detail. I think the reason that happens is because when I black out, I evacuate all nonsense. I just keep the raw meat in here. So anyway, getting back to where I was. So I drive into Bellevue Stratford. As I'm opening the trunk to get his stuff out, to make a long story longer, by the way, I said to Tom, I go, because he looked kind of rough, I go, "Dude, listen, you need any drugs and shit?" I figured I'd try to endear myself to this guy. I don't even know, he could have been a fucking cop. Bill Ibe setting up his future client to go to jail, right? That's how things work in shows. You never know what the fuck's happening. So, that is one good thing when I've gone into prisons to play. There's always somebody in there fucking knew me. Kweder's there, fuck. We were taking the doobies. What the fuck happened? Armed robbery, okay. So anyway, before you know it, I'm driving Tom. Every time Tom's in Philly or New Jersey or New York or Boston, I get the phone call from Bill. Can you get the car together and pick up Tom? So I pick him up. So after a while, I got to be really kind of lackadaisical. And I don't know if you guys know this, but when you're doing gigs, when Tom Waits is doing gigs at like a college or some venue, there's usually a backstage with pretzels and orange juice and vodka and beer and wine and maybe somebody has some drugs. So I was taking some poetic license after about 7 or 8 trips with Tom. I started getting a little bit, very relaxed. I started getting fucked up on the job. I'm the driver. But I had my buddy Artie with me sometimes. He was sober. So sometimes Artie would drive Tom, Artie Tripp. We love Artie Tripp. In fact, I'm dedicating this press conference to Artie Tripp because he was there at the beginning with me when we were vandalizing the city with like $10,000 worth of Carnation Milk. He was at the Artie Tripp. So Artie being my right-hand man, knowing I had a drinking problem, he would end up driving Tom, But then one time, Artie doesn't show up, I get fucked up. And then I wake up in the back seat and fucking Waits is driving me. So what happened is that he was cool with it, but again, I had to get him somewhere again. Artie didn't show up, and I woke up again in the back seat. And then he said, "Take care, friend." He drove to where we had to go, and he's going, "Bye-bye." This motherfucker fired me for drinking. Tom Waits. So that's your story, And there's more to it. When I went to the Academy of Music to go see me years later, I don't know if you want to hear that, but Okay, are you ready? Okay, ready for this one? This is really humiliating. So 5 or 6 years go by, I'm doing real well. Oh, actually, I was doing real well. And then my career burned and crashed, and I was back working at the government, right? 1983, it's fucked up. I got to go back after I told everybody that a bunch of jerk-offs, I'm going to be a millionaire in a couple years. I'm back working next to these motherfuckers. And they're giving me a fucking hard time. And they're not even letting me do food stamps anymore. I'm helping people heat their houses. This is another fucking thing. My name is weird, Mr. Hello? Is that Mr. Keters? I got fucking Keters right here. So they couldn't pronounce my name, nobody could. So that was my clients. Yeah, I love my clients. So anyway, where was I? So anyway, Tom Waits, he's playing the Academy music. I'm getting off this Friday night. I had my eye on this girl, so I thought I'd take her out for a date. And I go, hey, I got a surprise for you. I'm gonna blow your mind. Let's go see Tom Waits. And I got a really big surprise for you, like after the show. Like assuming that Tom forgot about the fucking driving mirror. We're watching a show, and I'm going, yeah, we're going to go backstage. We're going backstage. So next thing, the show's over. So then we go to the side. I know the Academy of Music real well for other, used to buy drugs there. So it's a great place. You know, nobody thinks it's going to take place there, right? So perfect. And also to deal drugs. When it's like raining and snowing and shit, best drug dealing weather. Cops say, stop here and fucking sleep and shit, right? So I'm there. We go backstage, and you ever see the Wizard of Oz where like they're knocking on things, and the door opens, the guy with the big hat is there, right? So it's like this woman, but without the hat, and it ain't the Wizard of Oz. It's Kenn Kweder at the Academy of Music trying to go backstage. It's a totally different movie. So they go, what can I do for you? I said, I got this girl next to me, and I go, we'd like to come backstage and say hello to Tom, because I'm friends with Tom. Little did I know, he remembered me. So I give her, she goes, what's your name? I go, Kenn Kweder. She goes, what's your name? Nobody can pronounce it. I go, Ken Preston, no, Kenn Kweder. So she goes back, never comes back. And the girl's like, what are we doing? I go, probably some kind of glitch in the system. So I knock. It's the Wizard of Oz, the fucking guy with the hat on and shit. I said, it's not the Wizard of Oz. So then she says, she goes, what's your name again? I said, Kenn Kweder. She goes, can you spell that for me? So I go, Kenn Kweder. I go, the guy with the car driving Tom around, you know. She goes, close the door. She goes, back up. So we're standing outside. I'm thinking, this isn't going the way I planned. This girl's like, was this guy fucking lying to me or what? I knock on the door again. She goes, let me get this straight. This actually out. She goes, let me get this straight. I don't know who the fuck she is. She says, your name's Kenn Kweder, right? I got it, it's Kenn Kweder. She goes, in that case, you are not permitted backstage. I went from like this big to like that big, but that's that girl. I was fucked up.
I just want to say, I was standing next to Kenn when that happened.
You were there, right?
Right next to you.
Yeah, I forgot you were there, remember? Yeah.
I got backstage.
You got me, but you didn't drive him around. I can't remember. Were you there? You were probably there, yeah.
I was right next to you.
How the fuck did you get back and I didn't get back? Probably because of the car business. The chauffeur of Kweder, huh?
He was the woman.
Yeah. Fucked up, man. I don't know what happened.
Anderson out.
Yeah.
Hey, Kenn, I remember you had a monkey, had a monkey's button on it, right?
I had a monkey doll with me.
Yeah.
Remember, I used to carry the thing around all the time, yeah? I got that from the mafia. Yeah. Remember that crazy, it was a monkey made out of, straw, the straw monkey, yeah. Yeah, that's another story. I took that from the mafia, man. It was pretty bold. But I had Chavez on my side. What other question, what else?
Who else has got one? Hands.
Chance, is that a question?
Hands. I'll ask you.
Hello?
First gig you ever played?
What is it?
What was the first gig?
I did, believe it or not, I did an AA meeting in a church. You know why? Because my mother was in there. It's like, oh, my son plays. Play Mr. Bojangles. All right. And the fucking Bojangles had a drinking problem. Now, one time I did a rehab out in the suburbs. I forget the name of the place. Famous one. And I just thought they wanted to hire me as a musician, So I didn't realize that all the songs were drug oriented. So they kind of fired me on the spot. So I honestly didn't know. the songs have drugs in them, and it's people trying to get off drugs. So 2 weeks later, I don't find this out till 10 years later. 2 weeks later, this guy tells me he went in there 2 weeks later, and they were told about the guy that was here 2 weeks ago. Don't do that. So the guy I meet 10 years later, guess who he is? And Jim Fogarty. He went in there after me, and I'm like, don't. Like, he never even knew who I was. He heard about this guy in a drug rehab singing drug songs. Like, that's how his first impression of me. That's why we get along so well.
Ken,
Yeah.
it's not so much a question.
Yeah.
I was listening the other night, like I spent the whole night just going through your catalog.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of live stuff in there.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to Secret Kids, Radio Church of God, etc., etc. You know, the powerful, powerful stuff, man. I mean, just incredible front man you are. Tight band. Music, just audience in a freaking rage, man. Half the time you can't even hear you. Everybody's freaking out.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, the climate, rock and roll. There's bands out there touring, okay? They've been together. I went and saw the Yardbirds 6 months ago, okay? All that was left was the drummer. All new guys, right? Sounded fucking phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
They were great. You thought you were listening to the original Yardbirds, okay?
Yeah.
If I was to say to you right now,
If I what?
if I was to say to you right now, what the fuck would be wrong? And I want to ask you.
What the fuck would I what?
What the fuck would be wrong with me asking you this question? And I want to ask the crowd what their opinion is. What would you say to reforming the Secret Kids? Now, I know I've asked you this question before.
Yeah.
You always give me the same answer. Oh, it's old news.
No, I'm just saying.
But I'm
I
going to
can
ask
answer
the
it.
audience.
Huh?
Who in this audience, if tomorrow came on Facebook and all of a sudden it said, Kenn Kweder, return to the Secret Kids. Now it could be the Secret Kids with a few ex-members and a few new guys.
Yeah.
Or it could be an all-new band. Or you could call it Kenn Kweder and the new Secret Kids. Like, you know, the new Cars came out 10 years ago. They had Todd Rundgren singing instead of Rick Ocasek. But my point to you is, I'm listening to the tapes, and I'm thinking the dynamic, the power, the intensity of you with a live 4-piece rock and roll band behind you is something that we all miss. I miss it.
Yeah.
And I want to see it again.
I would like to see, but you need an infrastructure too. I mean, like, you know, rehearsals. Nobody is like everybody that was in, like, we're all older, so how much time do people have on their hands to rehearse? Because a lot of this stuff is intentionally nuanced. I mean, there was.
My point is that right now there are so many bands on a national level, okay, that are out there reforming, okay, and they're doing great. They're selling out tours. So take that, take Philly as a microcosm of that. You could literally, if I guarantee you, if you went on Facebook tomorrow and said the Secret Kids are back, whoever's in the band, it's you, Kenn Kweder and the Secret Kids are back. You could go down the street to the Yardbird Music Hall and sell that out in 2 days.
I would hope that was true, but
Does anybody here agree with that, or am I just saying?
I'll go with one day.
I think that, I believe I'm one of the greatest performers that ever lived in Philadelphia. And I also know that some of my bands are some of the greatest bands that have ever been in Philadelphia. And if there's one fucking thing I really know, I know I'm probably the greatest rock writer and folk singer in Philadelphia. I know that. So, I mean, I don't have any doubts about myself. There's a wonderful guy said, I don't have anything against anybody. I'm just saying, I do believe, I have a lot of confidence in myself. But to go and rehearse again and all, nobody has any time. I mean, to do a great, I will tell you that, I mean, Richard would be able to tell you, when I had Monk Manley, he was in the Men from Wawa with Michael Radcliffe. That shit was fucking off the hook. But after years of doing like some of that stuff, whatever, like it's as great as it was. I mean, like, a lot of people get older, they want to come out of their house. So I don't cast aspersions at anybody or anything. I am honored that you say that, and I'm not saying it would never happen. Maybe it will happen, but you do need an infrastructure. You know, you need people you need a rehearsal hall, you need all that shit.
As a former drummer in the Kids, I'm in. I'm sure Greg Davis would do it, and I'm sure we could find 3 other people, maybe Jim Fogarty, And you don't really even need a keyboard player, man. You just need 2 guitars, bass, and a drum kit, and
Yeah.
you up front, man.
Yeah, I know, I mean, but that's something that to discuss after the press conference. The thing is like, well, once again, it's like, I don't know, look, I love Tommy Conwell, I love a lot of Richard Bush, I have nothing against anybody, because we all suffer the same way, you know? And but Tommy has he's a great guitar player, great frontman, but he has had the infrastructure I never had. So that infrastructure continues decade after decade, whether it exists now or not. But he does have the Burberry Review, the same thing. So I love all these guys. These are all friends of mine. So, but for me to do it, I would love to do it. I'd love to. I mean, I only do a couple rock shows a year as it is, you know.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, that's all you would need to do. If you could do 1 a month.
Well, that's too many. But, I mean, it's not too many for me because I'm fine. Like hold on 1 second. It's not too many for me because I'm strong and shit. But it's too many. Like Peru, if Peru plays more than 4 times a year, you have half. The rooms are half empty. And it's as great as Bob is. I'm nothing against him. You don't. The audience is not. There's the younger audience is more into other things. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to turn this into a whole thing on that, but there are pros and cons. I am completely confident in me. I know I'm as good as it gets, you know. So.
Irma, on a related note, define what should be the legacy of Kenn Kweder.
I don't know, mouthwash. The legacy, I don't know. I don't even, let me think about that. That's a tough question because it's almost egotistical and I don't like to be, I grew up Catholic, we were taught not to be. But I'm like unusual Catholic, you know, so.
What should be left to the world of music in your opinion?
What is it?
What should be left to the world of music as far as Kenn Kweder is concerned?
Well, you hope that my fingerprints will be left behind on like YouTube and stuff like that. You know, I mean that's what's going on now. Everything's recorded. You know, so I would hope that Kenn Kweder coins. Hey, you know, they're going to every time I give somebody if somebody buys a Kenn Kweder coin, I tell them this will outlast me. You know?
And what's the greatest? I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's the greatest thing they can learn from you?
To try to be as authentic as possible. You can't be totally authentic, but try to be because you have to compromise along the way. Sometimes you have to pull a fake press conference, you know. I mean, some people live better off being fake than authentic, and that's the truth. So nothing against them, but I can maybe a little bit against them. But I just think you got to be like, you don't surrender your curiosity and try to be authentic and try to care for people. That's all. Try to have a two-way relationship with people. You know?
Are there counterfeit Kenn Kweder coins?
Ask your buddy to grab it.
Coming soon. I'm gonna get Tommy Chapman to work on these motherfuckers. Once Tommy Chapman finds out, we're all fucked, you know.
You got time for 1 or 2 more, Kate?
Mr. Kweder, let's get serious now. Do you enjoy drinking?
Believe it or not, I never did. I never did. No, once I get rolling, I do. You know, but I don't really. It's a good question because like when you get rolling and you're with a group of people, I do enjoy it. But I don't. I don't like. To me, crack cocaine or marijuana was my go-to feel-good thing. But I can't do either of those now because I just can't. You know. I'm limited. I'm like limited to goddamn fucking alcohol now. You know. What other questions?
Ken,
Yeah.
did you bring any of your puppets?
Yeah, we got right here. Yeah. Fuck you, motherfucker. I'm going to get tasered in about 10 seconds. Here we go. Hold on, let's get tasered. Hold on, wait. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Now pull his feathers down. Pull his
The tranks! I got a fucking flashlight. Who's out there, motherfucker? I told you, shut the fuck up! I told you, motherfucker! I'm having a good time though. I should do this more often. What the fuck?
Every day! I heard a rumor once that to supplement your income, you had a relationship not just with Elon Musk or Tom Waits, but Steve Jobs. Could you tell the audience about that?
Steve Jobs, I honestly don't ever know him at all. He definitely never gave me a dime. I don't know. I respected Steve Jobs, but I don't.
The rumor was that it was lots of drug transactions.
That was Maury Povich.
I can tell you stories about Maury, but I better not.
What about Newt Bowl?
Newt Bowl was, he's the greatest basketball player of all time. You know that. I met him. I came up to his hips. That's about it. And it's really weird because he was kind of really skinny, and I thought I was in pretty decent shape, but not as skinny as him, man. He's a pretty skinny guy. He was a real soulful humanitarian, good guy.
Good song out of it, though, didn't it?
Pretty good song, yeah. I think we sold 79 copies. That's cardboard status, by the way.
Ken, what do I do if I don't want to go to work tomorrow?
If you don't want to go to work tomorrow, don't fucking go. That's right, man. What other questions? Got some more.
Do you have a puppet that's a nun that boxes?
The boxing nun?
Do you have one?
Yeah, the boxing nun is right over here. Hold on a second. Is it?
That druggy?
Hold on a second. Hey, wait a minute here! Wait, hold on. Now we get fucking down to business. Hold on.
Thank you,
Hey!
the taser.
Fuck you! Hey! Tommy Commons! He's in jail!
Stop hitting me with that ruler.
Here's a fucking counterfeit money, motherfuckers! So there's the boxing nun. She used to be with me during the pandemic. I missed the old pandemic, actually, so. That's what I said to say.
Did you give the boxing nun to the living room? Or
The boxing nun is going to stay here for good luck. I told Laura today, I cannot take the boxing nun back. The boxing nun belongs in the living room. How are you? Okay. See.
In the back.
Yeah.
Go in back.
Way in the back.
Oh, not you. You sit down. Somebody around you. Yes.
Ken, how many bands have you had? Can you name a few?
Okay. I don't know how many. A lot of people are familiar with my lifelong thing with music and all that. So some of you may not know, but I actually, believe it or not, the Secret Kids was one of the very first band was called Wasted Lunch, and that was a long time ago. And then after that was Secret Kids, and there were various different iterations. Mr. Joey Bruno was in one of the iterations. I think it was 5 different. Yeah. Joey played his ass off, man. Played great shit, great times. And then when that was over, I took some time off and I came back with the men, Kenn Kweder and the men from Kweder. And someone said, "Is that slightly megalomaniac?" Yeah, I guess so. So you're named twice in the name of the band, and then it was Kenn Kweder and like the Radio Church of God, Kenn Kweder and the Employees.
My favorite was the greedy little miser.
Yeah, Kenn Kweder and the Greedy Little Miser Weasels. That was a good one. The greedy, they already did like 4 shows. Yeah, Kenn Kweder and the men from Povich. Kenn Kweder and the men from Wawa. Kenn Kweder and the Couch Dancers featuring the Sexolettes. How many people remember Kenn Kweder and the Couch Dancers featuring the Sexolettes? Now here's a little, that only lasted a couple of us. My keyboard player was friends with the madam that ran like a, what do you call, ladies in the night, like, a fucking whorehouse. Adams City Line, I'm not gonna put any, yeah, but it was inside the Adams Mark fucking hotel in City Line Avenue. Like, so I got to be friends, well, Ed's one of my dear friends, and I got to be, he said, I'll bring these girls. I said, we gotta get some dancing girls. So we got these girls, they were like pretty hot looking chicks. And they came on stage. It was Kenn Kweder and the Couch Dancers featuring the sex lights. And then we finally had cages, PVC tubing. And we did that, like, you'd be surprised how many girls like to get in cages with that kind of thing. Because then you're like an object of desire, you know, shit like that. So, anyway, that only lasted a while because let me tell you, trying to control these girls, I gave them $25 each. They got that by just touching a guy. And I was like, so that only lasted like 4 gigs. That was the end of that. But then there was a bunch of bands after that, you know. Kenn Kweder and the, what do you call it?
Food stamps.
No, the hipster mind tricks. That was a good one. Kenn Kweder and hipster mind tricks. Yeah, that was a good one. So it's a handful of things. Which band stayed together? The Men from Wawa was the longest. Yeah. I couldn't come up with another name. Ran out of names. That's, you know, it's pretty long. But
What does Wawa stand for?
it's, you can't figure that out? It's what do you call that? An anagram? Or what is that called? W-A-W-A. We all want alcohol. Even though I hate it. I don't know.
Nothing ever legal from Wawa on that?
Pardon me?
Nothing ever legal from Wawa? You know, like, you can't use that name.
You can't.
Wawa.
You never got sued by Wawa.
No, I'm even utilizing, Steve here, Steve here.
The logo.
Wawa
Steve here?
is in Canada.
He's over there, Steve who?
There you go. I said, Steve helped design something. We had a little Wawa going on. This is Steve Howard. Let's put your hands together. He's done some great things. Steve, let me tell you about Steve has done some most amazing recordings of so many great acts in Philadelphia over the last handful of years. Not to mention, tremendous graphic designer and a hell of a fucking human being. I love you, motherfucker. So what? Any more questions?
Did I read that you played over 2,000 shows?
Say it again.
Did I read that you played over 2,000 shows at Smokey Joe's?
2,000 shows in my life?
At Smokey Joe's, you played.
Oh no, we're approaching 1,600. We've done almost 31 years. So I was there like once a week for 30 years. It's over 1,500. Like I was just there the other night, so it's like 1,551 or something now. That's a lot of fucking gigs in front of an audience that's 40 years younger than you. And the funny thing is, the most difficult thing there is like, I try not to let them know I'm in complete pain when I'm moving around. Like, I'm just like you. I'm like, my arm doesn't hurt. Yeah, my hips, I can move my hips just like I used to 29,000 years ago. But it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Ken, do you think your fans love you? Do you think your fans love you?
They seem to love me for.
Do you think you really know that?
Do I think what?
Do you know that?
I would think that there's a love, and I don't know, there's many different, what do you call it? Many different definitions of love. There's love, there's care, there's all that stuff. So I think people really care about me, really like me, and love me, I guess, yeah.
I love you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that I love back to love me, so it's good. But I mean, there's like people like, to me, one of the greatest all-time talents I ever came across is Marty Watt, great poet. I love Marty Watt in a way like I always care about him. Well, not in love, but I do love him, and if something were to happen to him, it would really hurt me. I love Marty Watt, you know. Yeah, Marty, you know.
Ken?
Yes.
Who was Kenn Kweder in high school? Are you like a nerd? Are you like going to the prom? Are you like playing the guitar? Like
Extremely shy.
Basketball?
I'm extremely shy. I was extremely shy until sophomore year, and someone introduced me to basketball, and I became a really serious basketball player for several years, and I made friends on the court. But I wasn't someone One thing, I have to tell you this, people, like, I can fairly articulate my thoughts now, decently, but when I was in high school, I really couldn't speak well. I couldn't complete a lot of sentences, so I was more like a grunter, hunter-gatherer, talker, and, so I didn't really hit off the girls, because I always would say, what's up, hey, what's happening? That was it. Like, that's it? Like, when do you have dinner? Like, oh, that's like a double syllable word. Like, no, so I was very shy, I'll be honest with you. It took me, I was in college. Once I started, to be honest with you, once I started drinking, I was less shy. And I'm not saying drinking's good for you, but.
Wait a minute, you said you were in college?
I went to Temple University for 5 years. I majored in English. The reason I could not speak, this is a true story, I could not articulate myself, I couldn't communicate. So I took a boatload of English classes and ended up studying Shakespeare. Yeah, true story.
And the Ferlighetti reference?
Well, yeah, I got into like literary things. I got deep into literary stuff. Then I tried to become a poet. That fucking went down. Then I put the guitar on and, started to cause problems.
You're a poet, you're a poet.
Yeah.
I can. My fifth question. I'm sorry. But who would you consider your doppelganger?
You!
I love you, man!
That was not set up, but it's the truth. People think, tell me I'm you, and they tell you you're me. The only time that works out is when the cops are at the warnings. Yeah. Love you, brother. Love you. Oh, that's it, but Ian now introduced the show, and I'm going to start doing some thank yous. Ian, wonderful friend, we produced the Morning Rock show 6 years ago. And we met a year prior to that, movie about me, it was made. And I want to take this over, I need to practice 2 more questions, but I want to thank Stormy, my girlfriend, for helping me edit these questions. Can you imagine what it's like to be asking me questions together, and she's going, you got the same question choice. Then it was like, you got 3 of them. And I'm like, fuck. Now we have these scissors. I was going crazy with scissors, just cutting questions off. I want to thank Radar, my dear friend for almost 50 years over there. Steve Curtis is his real name. His son, Greg Curtis, who helped put together the introduction, the intro music, the Twilight Zone, and all that stuff. Let's get ready to rumble, motherfucker. Huh?
Cindy.
Oh, of course. I'm going on down the line. I want to thank.
I thought you were rumbling.
Oh, I'm not done yet. No. I want to thank immense thank you to Cindy Pearson, who has been my infrastructure at these theatrical events for several years. She always hits a grand slam. Thank you so much. Thank you. Love you, Cindy. Thank you. Yeah, there she goes. There she goes. Come out and fucking show us my fuck's going on. There she goes. Also, Laura Mann for having one of the most wonderful venues in the area. Iowa, Clinton, Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York, everywhere. Thank you, Laura Mann, for putting this together. Eli, he does an unbelievable job on sound over there. Thank you. Just tremendous. Just really tremendous. Once again to Steve Hallis, who's just been my backbone in none of these, anything I do is important, he says. So thank you, Steve. Thank you. Did I miss anybody?
Lee.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Anybody see him?
No, we can't see him.
Gets in. You know what, Lee? We started off together when I started vandalizing all the windows and all the walls in Philadelphia with carnation milk with your face on there. And you disturbed a lot of people from 1970 onwards. You and I together, Lee. And tonight, the perfect circle has been created. Let's hear for Lee Harvey Oswald for being with me since 1970, motherfucker! Now, can you imagine Tommy Cowell doing that?
Nobody can play outside on the street with a guitar.
He's fan of him. He's very, true gentleman. Oh, yeah, no, that's good. It's already Kweder press conference. Pardon me? I had, I don't know how many people are familiar with the pop star named Pitbull. You know? He does that song, what's the song called? Cannonball or some shit? Fireball by Pitbull. I bought a couple life-size cardboard cutouts of Pitbull, and I would bring him to my fraternity parties. But the kids are loving the Pitbull. I turn around, Pitbull, you fucking listen. So I get another Pitbull, bring him to a fraternity party. All the girls are climbing on and licking his face and shit. They're like licking the Pitbull cutout, and he's gone. So then I thought, fuck it, I can't afford bringing all these lights. I start bringing miniature Pitbulls, like a miniature cutout. And them other girls are grabbing him and taking him up in their room and shit. So now we got the Harvey Oswald. You guys got to come along on our fraternity parties. This is some shit. What's that?
I thought the first photo I saw.
Oh, it looks good, yeah.
It looks real, and he really fits in like a kid.
Yeah.
And then what Kweder was completely then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am going there. Because one of the questions that one of the questions I didn't answer was I've got a preeminent stroke on my esophagus. I've intentionally deranged, so I don't have any type of heart rate. You have to be prophylactic in this world. My diet? I've always been weird. I mean, I haven't had dessert since 1965. So, I mean, I have a very strange relationship with sugar, so I try to stay with them. So, then you find out it's not good for you. But I mean, I wouldn't call that a diet. I started to get very narrow around them. But I was already narrow back then. But I got even narrower when I stumbled onto the shit with cows again. Meatball? Yeah, but I didn't eat the meat. I don't attempt to. I'm trying to do his arm next time I say him that. What do you got again?
If I just came through the house car and she just came through.
I could probably finish up with a song, yeah, I guess some of that. Here, hold on to Lee Harvey Oswald. Oh, no.
He's just good old kitchen folk.
Lee Harvey. Huh? Okay. I think there's one in there. I want to thank Bob Hornsby for giving me this as a gift, the scepter, the Kweder scepter. I give you like Dr. Bones and cast spells.
And thanks, Sean.
And Sean, of course, thank you, Sean. Sean, I can't see anybody.
No, I can't either.
What's this bullshit? You get all the things look weird. You can't see them. But I got the book with me. I should sell this. Here's a question nobody asks. What is poetry? Poetry is the evidence of life. If you like the burning well, poetry is just the ash.
Wow.
Clumsy poetry by people. That's good. That's good. This is really basic. No mica. Yeah. But I'll use it. Hey, John, can see, man. Yeah.
And Kweder unplugged.
Undrugged. So Irma, she's not here. So I'm going to do a song by Billy Scheid, And I think this pretty much would be perfect circular ending for the press conference. I want to thank everybody for coming out. It was a lot of fun. I would do it more often if I could, but we'll see what happens. But this was a lot of fun. I think you got a chance to see what is real and not knowing what is fake. Ready? Well, it's cold and it's raining, and the streets look like glass, and me, I'm just walking alone with my past. I'm standing on 4th Street with everything that I own. Right across the street used to be my home. Remember me, I'm your friend, yes I am. Remember me, we lived together, yes we did. Remember all the fun we had, making love in a taxi cab. Remember me, I'm the man you said you're gonna love forever. These sandals I'm wearing, you gave me last year, and this coat that I just pawned, we stole New Year's Eve. But over the rainbow, where all those good things lie, I'm gonna wish you by and by. Remember me, I'm your friend, yes I am. Remember me, we lived together, yes we did. Remember all the fun we had, making love in a taxi cab. Remember me, I'm the man you said you're gonna love forever. Remember me, I'm your friend, yes I am. Remember me, we lived together, yes we did. Remember all the fun we had, making love in a taxi cab. Remember me, I'm the man you said you're gonna love forever. Yeah, remember me, I'm the man you said you're gonna love forever and ever and ever. Remember me, I'm the man you said you're gonna love forever.